Hey yo, big up Denim Tears. Big up Denim Tears. You guys on the stream, you guys on the podcast know how much I'm a big fan of Denim Tears. Know how much I'm a big fan of Tremaine Emory. Although he's had a bit of a rocky tenure at the head of his own brand. I feel like over the last 18 months or so, things have definitely been on the up and up for Denim Tears. And I would imagine, because Tremaine doesn't seem like a dumb guy, although he, has some questionable moments during the whole get sacked by Supreme thing and saying that they're fucking introduced racist and all that malarkey. Even though he had a bit of a rough situation with that sort of stuff, which looking back you can kind of understand now, because you'd imagine, like a lot of us in streetwear, myself included, being a creative director of Supreme would be a dream job for any of us here, myself included. But I guess sometimes when your dream job becomes hell on earth, it can be a bit of a mind fuck. So it we probably maybe should have given him more grace for the way that he kind of responded and acted toward the allegations surrounding himself and his work career and whatnot, what he did do wrong when he was at fucking Denim Tears and stuff. I think that would have been far more beneficial. But hey, we didn't extend that grace to him, unfortunately. We are who we are. Humans are fucking shit, myself included. But what I have noticed though, that the more Tremaine keeps quiet, the more Tremaine doesn't speak, the more Tremaine isn't doing interviews, the more Tremaine isn't sharing his opinions on race and shit, the better received I think his brand is. But unfortunately for Denim Tears, his brand is intrinsically tied to, that's the issue. So yes, what they're saying is true. Hey, not that great of a guy, blah, 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 blah. But let's be real also, like, what can you do when it comes to that sort of stuff? Like, you need to kind of understand, like, I wonder if he understands it. I wonder if Tremaine understands how different his brand has been received now that because it feels intentional, taking a step back from the media, taking a step back from press, and just let his brand speak for itself. Because some of the collections I've seen online from Denim Tears have been fire. The activations or the brand events, the Pusha T or the clips thing that happened recently as well at their store was fucking sick. And now they've got this really cool article courtesy of Business of Fashion where they sort of dig deep into Denim Tears' business, and we find out some really tasty numbers that Denim Tears are doing, all courtesy of this article from Business of Fashion that says, exclusive, Denim Tears is leveling up. With tens of millions in annual sales, Tremaine Emory buzzed about New York label is in expansion mode. So big up Tremaine Emory, walked away from a pretty lucrative job at Supreme, and now his own brand, Denim Tears, is leveling up in a big, 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 big way. Let's go. So it says the follows. New York-based streetwear label Denim Tears has an unofficial logo. It's Cotton Reef. The circle white balls can be seen splashed across sweats and Levi jeans worn by the kids of New York City. It's been embraced by celebrities such as A$AP Rocky, bootleggers, resellers on StockX, and luxury brands such as Dior, Comme des Garçons, and for high fashion collaborations. Earlier this year, the brand released and sold out cashmere sweatsuits retailing for as much as $2,800 with cotton reefs and Swarovski crystals. That's fucking beautiful, by the way. Cashmere Denim Tears sweatsuits with fucking Swarovski crystal encrusted cotton reefs. That's some nigger shit, bro. That's some high class nigger shit. Let's continue. The emblem has become a hit for Denim Tears since founder Tremaine Emory introduced it in 2020. The reef to him symbolizes the history of slavery, the plight of African Americans, and is just one of many designs from a label that's committed to sharing stories about Black diaspora. Now, the only problem with this whole cotton reef situation is that obviously for Tremaine, the cotton reef holds a lot of it's a very strong message. It's a very strong symbol, sorry. It should be a strong symbol for all Black people, to be fair. But for Tremaine Emory, it being his brand, there's a lot of significance that comes from that symbol. But I have to be honest, right? And you guys are stream chat, people out there that listen to the podcast after the fact, let me know. I'm being honestly true about this. The only people I've ever seen wear Denim Tears outside in real life have been non-Black people. I've seen Denim Tears. You see a lot of it worn in airports. I actually had the idea of maybe getting one for an airport fit. It seems like the de facto choice people going to the airport in terms of a nice kind of like fancy sweatsuit to wear. So I've seen people wearing the airport, people wearing it at shopping malls, people wearing it about town where I'm from. And the only people that I've seen wearing this stuff day to day have been non-Black people. So I wonder if you're Tremaine Emory and this cotton reef represents what it represents. Number one, is he bothered that the people that wear it necessarily aren't black, especially ones that I've seen where I'm from. In the States might be a bit different. And is he even bothered that the people that wear it have no idea what the cotton reef is? Because I did ask one kid before. I did bump into a kid who had a full set on it, and I did ask him if he knew what that symbol meant. He had no idea. He just thought it was a Denim Tears logo, but he had no idea the symbolism and wherever else that come from it. So I wonder if that's a point of contention for a guy like Tremaine, who's clearly very passionate about these type of things, or if the money helps him to dry away his tears. I'd love to know. The commitment made the Denim Tears what he is today, a business that, according to the brand, is generating tens of millions in annual revenue. Let me say that again. That commitment made Denim Tears what it is today, a business that, according to the brand, is generating tens of millions in annual revenue and has doubled sales every year since it was founded in 2019. God almighty. Obviously, there's going to come a point where that'll stop, you'd imagine, but doubling your sales every year since 2019 is no mean feat, especially when you consider the amount of fucking competition out there when it comes to streetwear. There's so much competition out there. The fact that they've been able to do this since 2019 consistently is pretty impressive. Without any investors, only one retail partner, Dover Street Market, where it sells via a concession model. Next, the brand is set to expand beyond its lone flagship store in New York, and with a location in Tokyo set for 2026, and plans to eventually open stores in cities like Atlanta, Chicago, Houston, Philadelphia, Portland, Los Angeles, to service from predominantly African-American customer base. Now that's pretty cool, but it is interesting to see the first location they go to outside the States is Asia, right? For a brand that's, very racially charged, very racially motivated and shit, has that symbol that again has a lot of history, has a lot of symbolism behind it when it comes to race and slavery over there in America, or just the black experience in general. For their first store to open in Asia is interesting. But then, to be fair to Denim Tears and Tremaine and shit, Asia also is the home of streetwear. Asia is probably the place where a lot of black folks in streetwear feel probably the most comfortable at, because a lot of people over there, especially in places like Japan, they are really passionate about and kind of sincere when it comes to understanding different cultures around the world, honoring them, respecting them, lifting them up, putting them up on a pedestal, really taking them seriously and shit. So I wonder if it's less to do with they maybe, being racial sad. Some people kind of call them to be on social media, Denim Tears, and more to them to do with just spreading the message, spreading the good word, across the fucking world when it comes to Denim Tears and shit. But yeah, I think that's fucking amazing. But by the way, tens of millions of annual revenue is fucking no joke. Let's scroll down to a picture there of Tremaine sitting in the chair. It says the success has come in spite of to some degree, the controversy surrounding Emory has stirred. While he has provoked audiences with releases such as the necklace made out of chicken bones, it was his 2023 split with Supreme, just 18 months after being appointed as the first creative director of the brand, that elicited some of the strongest reactions when he explained on social media that the rift occurred because he was prevented from using images by artist Arthur Jaffa. One picture showing a black man being lynched, another depicting a whip scarring the back of a free slave. On Supreme's apparel, alleging systemic racism, many fans criticized what they saw Emory's commercialization of black trauma. Yeah, and just the fact that he just sounded like a baby and a victim, you can't on one hand, maybe it's just me, but you can't on one hand celebrate the fact that Supreme hired their first external black creative director at their brand, and then because it didn't go well for you there, you then say that they are systemically racist. Like, if they were systemic racist, they wouldn't have hired your black ass in the first place. Like, it didn't work out because it didn't work out. Like, most likely Tremaine's experience at Supreme didn't work out predominantly because of fucking James Jebbia. Love James Jebbia, respect him, James Jebbia, immensely for what he's done for streetwear, and the fact that he built Supreme up to be what it is now, especially for a guy who has never stepped foot on a skateboard. Fucking legendary. And again, like I said previous times, like I briefly bumped into James Jebbia when he was, I think this is just before the London Supreme store opened, and he was doing his little kind of walks around town. And he popped into 1948 with Michael Copperman actually from Gimme Five. And Michael Copperman from Gimme Five, he's got a bit of a cunty, standoffish, up his own ass attitude. But weirdly enough, James Jebbia was really nice. So Michael Copperman from fucking Gimme Five was a bit of an asshole. Kind of always has been. I think it's part of his brand. But James Jebbia was super nice. And I think it always happens like that, right? For whatever reason, the person at the top, like the actual big dog, the actual one that you actually need to be licking the ass of, is incredibly safe. But then you'll go to a Supreme store and I don't know, the girl working at the door, the guy sales assistant at the fucking on the shop floor, they're the cunts. But the people that actually own the brand are super, super safe. So big up James Jebbia for being nice when I kind of, you know, told him that he's fuck. I think I said something like, "Oh, you're amazing. Thank you for making me fall in love with streetwear." I don't know what I said. Something stupid, right? And he was very, very, very courteous and shit. Shook my hand and stuff and asked me my name and kept it moving. I think he had the same outfit he wears now, by the way. He had the same outfit he wears now, that fucking raw denim suit he wears, like denim jacket, denim jeans, and I think a pair of Red Wings on. And Michael Coppin had that kind of, you know, Michael Coppin probably got autism from. Now I'm thinking about it, it wouldn't surprise me if Michael Coppin has some sort of tism. You know, like, because he's a bit of a strange lad, that guy. Very, very, very strange man. But big up Hideout, big up Gimme 5. Let's scroll down. But Emory's outspokenness has also been an anchor for Denim Tears, a black-owned label akin to 1990s brand Fubu, in its desire to speak to its community first and foremost. Emory said that as an artist whose designs are open to critique, but he feels that his expression of black experience is neither monolithic nor overly fixated on the negative tribulations. He doesn't plan to change his creative approach, which he said isn't intentionally provocative. No, I don't think it's intentionally provocative. I just feel like people get provoked by it, and for some reason, especially in America, they don't seem to like that short shit. They don't. I guess for some reason they have because I don't like it because it just looks a little bit shit. But I think they don't like it in America for some, which is odd because they also seem to like to peddle in that black trauma with movies and shit on slavery. So I find it kind of rich how some black folks on Twitter are very against Tremaine's expression of the black experience or black trauma on clothes, but they don't mind seeing it on the big screen. It's very, very strange. Don't get me wrong, there are some people that also complain that we have too many slavery movies, but I don't see the same sort of disdain and vitriol pointed towards those movies. And maybe it just comes down to the fact that a lot of black people in America don't really rate Tremaine as a designer. They don't think he's good enough. They don't think he's talented. They think he's garbage, and they probably use the fucking slavery iconography, imagery, whatever it may be, as an excuse to attack him because they just don't rate him as a designer. I don't know. But regardless, I think the hate is a little bit OTT, a little bit unwarranted, a little bit OTT, a little bit over the top. It continues. When I'm making the collections, the only thing that's provocative to me is that these things haven't been talked about before. That's the real provocative thing for me, the lack of knowledge. By the way, it's also good to hear that he designs the collections. I don't know why. A part of me felt like he doesn't design them and he just kind of oversees the design and maybe picks certain things, like, you know, like a true creative director, maybe kind of oversees and steers people the right direction, you know, maybe picks some details here and there. But I didn't know he actually designed some of it, which is what he's alluding to here, I think. Given the polarized political climate in the US, when many black Americans and other minorities fell under attack, his perspective on the point of attraction, not detriment, in the eyes of many Denim Tears customers. The quote, "He's taken some important stands. He hasn't played it safe. It sticks to his values," said Jonathan M. Squares, assistant professor of the Black Visual Cultures at Parsons School of Designs, who's also a customer of the brand. We're in a moment where people want to support a project and a brand that's aligned with their values. Like I said, I don't think people necessarily care too much about Denim Tears' values. I just think they unquestionably make great clothes. It's unquestionable that they make really good streetwear, like really good streetwear. And I think now that Tremaine has stopped giving interviews and stopped moaning about Supreme and stopped talking about fucking racial injustice and shit on every fucking interview, I think people have been able to now see how good the brand is without it being tainted or swayed by their dislike for Tremaine as a person. Because again, for whatever reason, I'm not sure what it is. Maybe it's because he's, you know, he says what he says, and maybe in that political climate in the US, they don't really like to hear that sort of shit. I don't know. But he does seem to rub people up the wrong way, Tremaine himself, not the designs. I think Tremaine rubs people up the wrong way, and then people use Tremaine's designs as an excuse to attack him. That's what I think, but I could be wrong. It continues from StockX to the Met. Though it's hard to gauge the performance of a brand with almost no retail distribution, it's a momentum. Really? Shit. So they only sell to what? Dover Street Market and their own stores online. Ooh, they're making some money. Though it's hard to gauge the performance of a brand with almost no retail distribution, its momentum is evident on the resale market. On StockX, sales of Denim Tears list items grew 290% in 2024. After Emory exited Supreme compared to 2023, in the first half of 2025, the brand's products sold for 31% above retail on average, up from 21% during the same period last year. Maybe its biggest recent win, however, is nothing to do with the sales online hypebeast. It was Denim Tears' inclusion into exhibitions at the Metropolitan Museum of Costume Institute, such as the Superfine Tailoring Black Style and the America Lexicon of Fashion. Garments such as Ralph Lauren-esque knit sweatshirts with Pan-African American flags, cheekily dubbed the Tyson Beckford sweater in reference to the longtime polo model, are a part of the Costume Institute's permanent collections alongside Levi's denim featuring the brand's cotton reefs, which is fucking incredible. That's a good point though. That's an incredible nod. That shows that you're doing something. You're really fucking affecting culture. So big up Tremaine and Denim Tears for that one. A quote here. What attracts us to Tremaine's work for Denim Tears is the strength of his point of view and his mission to highlight the stories and histories of Black Americans, his own personal history, and the contributions of members of the African diaspora. And said Amanda Garfinkel, an associate curator at the Met's Costume Institute. And here you see an outfit, a look from a recent Denim Tears collection dedicated to black jockeys in the Met. Like, look how good that is, man. That's fucking brilliant. If, like, as I say, a lot of people don't praise this sort of shit because it's a black-owned streetwear brand. But if Prada did this, right? If Musha Prada did this exact look with this fucking crazy leather hexagonal fucking jacket with the zebra print shirt and the matching pants and the, I don't know what they probably are, maybe Chelsea boots, maybe just the model zone, and maybe fucking whatever it is, people be going fucking crazy over there. This looks so hard. Emory's design language of a wardrobe mainstays such as jeans and hoodies adorned with graphics and political commentary such as get rich or DEI trying comes from being a student turned thought leader for streetwear in the same vein as his friend, the late Virgil Abloh, R.I.P. Virgil. The way the brand forefronts black identity is also evident in New York flagship dubbed the African Diaspora Goods. Half of the store, which is situated in the original location of the pioneering streetwear retailer Union at 176 Spring Street, is reserved for a library that contains 1,500 books on African art rather than in clothes. That's fucking sick, man. I mentioned the other day, actually, when we went to Goodhood. We popped into Goodhood the other day in, is it near Truman's Brewery, whatever that place in Shoreditch is, Brick Lane, you know what I'm talking about. Goodhood have like what I imagine is a pop-up shop there. I think their shop on Cotton Road is gone now, if I'm not mistaken. Let me know in street chat if I'm wrong. But that store is garbage, man. Goodhood's retail online store is way better than their retail store. And I was really confused because I was thinking, like, if you've got a retail store nowadays, surely a brick and mortar store, surely you have to offer your customer a way more immersive experience, a way more worthwhile experience than them just shopping for stuff online, because what's the point of going in the store if you're not going to give me that experience? So if I'm hearing this correctly and they've got 1,500 books in this store, and you know Tremaine to be a guy that's always sharing books that he's reading or gonna buy soon or is interested in or has been recommended soon, it's actually a good way for you to kind of get, you know, enveloped in the Denim Tears world, to kind of be able to be transported to what they're about and shit, and to really kind of maybe seek some sort of connection between what they're making, what they're putting out, the visuals and everything goes start making sense. We start reading these books that are probably inspiring the collection that you're probably purchasing. But again, it gives you a reason to go out there, because, you know, you might grab a book while you're waiting for the store assistant to kind of get your shit from the back. You might typically go in there for some book recommendations in general, maybe borrow some in a sort of library system type of way. I don't know. I think it's a really cool idea. So big up him for doing that. Emory envisions Denim Tears' future stores serving as a similar purpose. The quote says, "I want each store to express parts of the diaspora through a collection." He said, "There's so much that needs to be saved and preserved in the future generations, and our stores can play a part in that." Growth mode. While Denim Tears does 85% of its business via e-commerce, physical retail is key. By the way, 85% is a lot, isn't it? Shit, it's not even like 80. 85. Shit. According to Emory, because he wants his customers to feel the quality of the garments and explore the meaning behind the collections. Granted that the label's strongest categories are staples such as hoodies, sweatpants, t-shirts, and Emory finds repeat customers are also gravitating towards upscale, ready-to-wear offerings beyond graphic apparel, such as leather pants and shirling coats. By the way, I'm a big believer, and I've said this from the beginning, even when he was going through his nonsense and saying all that stuff that was pissing people off and pissing me off. I was also saying from the very get-go that Denim Tears is ready to wear. Denim Tears' actual collection outside of the sweatsuit, so outside of the cotton reefs, is hella underrated. doesn't get spoken about and is super like, for instance, like I still fondly remember the Denim Tears collaboration with fucking Opening Ceremony. That shit was fucking fire, man. It sold out in absolute minutes, right? But Denim Tears Opening Ceremony collection was so fucking good. Like, they do some really fucking good shit. And I wish people would give them more respect for that sort of good shit, but we don't. Is it Opening Ceremony? No. What brand is it? Opening Ceremony. What's the fucking brand called? It's for fucking Sweden. What are they fucking called again? Is it a Swedish brand? Swedish brand collab. I forgot their fucking name again. And they made that 2-pack fucking Swedish brand collab. Let's see what's the name called again? That's it. Our Legacy. Our Legacy. Denim Tears and Our Legacy collection was so, even the Stussy shit was actually kind of hard too. So is it a different thing? Let's see if this is a different thing. So yeah, the Denim Tears Our Legacy Stussy collab, fire, right? We know that was fucking great. You remember the denim suit they did there, but all of this shit is outside of the fucking cotton reef shit. The separate, I'm talking about the separate standalone Our Legacy shit. Let's see if I can find it. There was a separate Our Legacy thing where they had like this really crazy vest that they did. Oh, I can't find it anywhere here on this fucking image that I'm talking about. But I'm sure I'm thinking of the right thing. I'm sure it was Our Legacy. They did a collaboration with Our Legacy that I really fucking like. Let's see if I can find it on here. Our Legacy. Let's type it in that way. But I do remember it being extremely, extremely hard. And again, that's outside of the cotton reef shit. There we go. That's the one. That's the one. This one here. So fucking cool. And again, doesn't get the respect it deserves because everyone's obsessed with the cotton reef shit. But this is from what, 2023. It's a tribute to Tupac Shakur, Our Legacy and fucking Denim Tears collaboration. You got great suiting. You got fucking cardigan, sleeveless top, sweatshirt things. You got leather pants, great t-shirts, button-up shirts, great fucking denim, leather fucking vests and shit. Like, this was so fucking hard. Like, look at the little diamond buttons on the fucking denim suit. Like, you can't go wrong with that, man. On that 101 denim jacket, the cardigan vesting going on there, this mesh top here, this rugby mesh top is fucking phenomenal. That leather vest is fucking phenomenal. So fucking well done, right? And again, stuff that you'd remember Tupac wearing in loads of iconic pictures back in the day. So they don't get the respect they deserve for their ready-to-wear. Their ready-to-wear is fucking hard. Everyone just focuses too much on all of that other shit that they do with the cotton reefs and shit. But anyway, let's go back to the article. Anthony Spector, Emory's business partner, said Denim Tears is approaching new product categories carefully to maintain quality, and the labels currently focus on outwear, shirting, while expanding into accessories into small leather goods, sunglasses, and potentially jewelry. Is that Little Yachty? Yeah, Little Yachty wearing some Denim Tears sweatsuit. Actually, let me see, what do they have on their website right now? What's available to purchase on that? Because everything Denim Tears fucking make sells out in fucking minutes. So let's see what they actually have available to purchase on their website right now. So Denim Tears shop. Let's see what's available now. Let's see new. What do they have? What can you, if you had money and you wanted to purchase shit, what could you get right now? You could get a cotton reef Western button up. That's pretty decent. I'm not too bad. You can get some t-shirts, some shorts. Oh, I like these. Oh, I like these layered shorts actually. I like these layered shorts. I ain't mad at these layered shorts. ADG double layered mesh shorts. They come in black and green, sorry, and they're also reversible. They look kind of and one-ish, isn't it? That logo looks very and one-ish. I ain't mad at that logo with the DT there. That's a very clever flip on the Denim Tears logo there. It kind of looks like also the CD, the compact CD logo, if that makes any sense. So you can get those shorts. Oh, I love these hats, by the way. Zip code hats. I ain't mad at the zip code hats. Big up my guy. I forgot his fucking name, but he made amazing hats out of BPM base. They were fucking brilliant as well. Such a clever design. Maybe I'll flip these and make postcode hats. This is really cool. 718212. In these really cool colorways too. I guess New York Mets colorways, Boston Celtics colorways and shit. New York Yankees colorways with the black and white. You've also got this ADG African Diaspora sweatsuit, which I guess is a kind of a nod to their cotton reef sweatsuit. So it's got that logo, you know, the badge that they have inside Denim Tears clothing that says African Diaspora Goods with Denim Tears on that kind of ribbon and shit. They have that printed on the outside of the fucking sweatsuit, which is kind of hard, I'm not gonna lie. If I was being picky, I'd say I'd want this to be a fucking double zip, two-way zip, you know. I think they sit better too. You can also unzip a little bit at the bottom as well. I think that'll be pretty cool to have. But it does look pretty nice actually, especially in that washed colorway as well. What else do they have available on the website? You have some hats, you have some shorts, but not a lot of cotton reef shit. So basically all the cotton reef stuff is gone. Cotton reef stuff is always sold out, not able to be purchased. Oh, this RBG fucking do-rag. God damn, I like this. I ain't mad at this in the slightest. Yeah, I'm not mad at that in the slightest. Printed do-rag, one size, pack of 3, 100% polyester. Not mad at that in the slightest at all. With that fucking black, red, and green fucking colorway on the fucking do-rag. Not mad at that. But yeah, big up Denim Tears. Let's continue going on. The vision is to build out an entire wardrobe of Denim Tears customers who come to the label organically. Spectre noted the brand, which has said has been profitable from the start, doesn't do paid marketing. So they want a full head-to-toe situation. They want people to come in there and buy luggage, leather goods like they mentioned before, hats, a whole shebang from Denim Tears. I think that's possible, man, because they've been doing cut and sew to be honest from the beginning. They've been doing cut and sew from the very beginning, like actually making jackets and bombers and trench and hats and shit. So that's possible. I'm curious to see if Tremaine will ever go down the route of having an actual fashion show, because that would be fucking. That I think that would go very well, especially with his popularity in the scene. I think a lot of people would be eager to attend it. Maybe it wouldn't be received very well by the fashion media and crowd. But I think I'd love to see it. I'm not gonna lie. I would actually like to see a Denim Tears fashion show one day. I think they would absolutely kill that. I think it would be an immersive experience. It'd be a bit of a runway theater, runway performance. The reality is we live in a world. This is a quote. We live in a time where the consumer really must connect with the product through the authentic storytelling, authentic creativity, authentic community Spectre. When you have those things in abundance, you don't need to pay to acquire customers. Yep, that's a good point. And I guess that's that guy, right? Anthony Spectre, is that him? I think that might be him there modeling some of the stuff. I don't know if that is him, but that looks pretty decent there. The company's also grown more than 30 employees who've come from streetwear brands such as Supreme, Aimé Leon Dore, as well as luxury brands like Balenciaga. Wow, really? Some people left Supreme to join fucking Tremaine at fucking Denim Tears. That must have been very, very satisfying and gratifying. I'm not gonna lie. To get fucking scummed out by Supreme and then to have those same people that work there now come sending you CVs. That must feel fucking good. Denim Tears' international customer base is growing too, in cities such as London and Paris, as well as countries such as Japan and Korea. Even though many of the shoppers don't have personal connection with the racial history, Emory joys on beyond pop culture. Yeah, that's like I said, that's always the funniest bit. Everyone I see wearing Denim Tears in my area, for sure is only wearing is not black for sure. The only people that I see wearing that sort of like sweatsuit is the kids wearing Essentials thing. It's kind of dying down now, but you still see the odd kid here and there wearing Fear of God Essentials sweatsuit head to toe. Maybe, to be honest, which is really sad, I've maybe seen more kids in my hood or in my ends wearing Represent, big up Represent guys from Manchester and shit. I've seen them wearing Represent sweatsuits, but I haven't seen them wearing Denim Tears sweatsuits. I'm not gonna lie. Not going to lie. Just in my area alone, I think I'm the only person I've ever seen wearing the Converses, because I've got the Converses in low and the high, and I think I'm the only person in my area I've ever seen, that's worn them. Emory believes, but then in America, if you see the pictures of people wearing them, I think in America, especially in New York, a lot of people wear it. Like a lot of people feel a lot of hometown pride with kind of representing Denim Tears, representing Tremaine because he's obviously from there and shit. But for some reason, internationally, hasn't really, hasn't really kind of come over the same way. Emory believes he still can be appreciative. Emily believes they can still appreciate the meaning behind the label, and that the brand can appeal to anyone who has respect and passion for the stories behind the Black diaspora. It communicates not only with its clothing, but through media projects as well as full-length documentaries. The quote, "The way they put out their brand identity is really amazing on the marketing side, because their storytelling doubles down on who they are instead of what they think they should be," says Ismailia Ish Traore, founder of creative agency called Coral Studios and previous creative at Wyden and Kennedy, which is true. But I also think it's very intentional from Tremaine. He shut the fuck up about that sort of shit. Tremaine doesn't talk too much about, black people can only wear. To be fair, he never said it, but you never hear him saying these type of things anymore. He's kind of walked back some shit. So I think it's very intentional, because that guy isn't dumb. I'm sure intentionally he's decided to kind of step back from the microphone, step back from the interviews, step back from the press and the media, and let the brand speak for itself. Whenever resonates with it, but not try and make it seem as if, only black people can wear this sort of shit, which I fucking love. I think Telfar done the opposite. I think the Telfar guy has basically come out and said anybody can wear this bag. It's not just for black people, which has obviously made it 10 times more popular. But I think Tremaine's done also a good job to just kind of walk back the kind of, the commentary and shit, not get so triggered by certain people attacking him because he has a white wife and shit, and just let people just say what they want to say and then keep it moving, which I think is what you should do. A jacket from the 4th collection. Look at that. Look at that jacket from the 4th collection. Released in March, was inspired by New Orleans black masking news. Like, that's fucking gorgeous, that jacket there. That denim jacket with that print on it. So cool. Beyond denim tiers, many other identity-focused streetwear brands by BIPOC founders have emerged post-2020 when the Black Lives Matter movement drew global attention. Emory believes that the larger streetwear category is now dominated by these types of labels, crediting the inequalities in America, the inequities in America and Western civilization. His quote: "If you go to Supreme, there are not too many people that look like me or Clint 419 founder of Cortez there. Yet the style of clothing is heavily based on how black people or minorities have influenced culture." By the way, like, I would like to ask Tremaine, because he keeps mentioning this sort of thing, like being surprised by how white the C-suite or the boardroom or the head office was the Supreme. And I'm confused because, like, I remember first coming across or being introduced to Tremaine when I used to work at 1948, and he was way closer with a former friend of mine who he was kind of way closer with. Because I don't know why, I think they might have worked in the same, so I don't know, but he was way closer with him than he was with me. But I kind of knew him loosely for the scene and shit. Haven't really spoken to him in a long time or seen him in fucking years. But I always kind of thought he was kind of plugged in the New York streetwear scene, plugged in the London scene. He moved with the right people. He was always in the right sort of circles. So usually within that sort of scene, it's a very small world. You kind of get an inside look on what's going on. You kind of are privy to a lot of gossip and a lot of industry news and shit. But you usually know what's happening. Even for myself, right? Being a little bit of a streetwear geek and a fan from the outside in, when I was really, really into this shit, I knew everybody, like, especially people, other people on forums can attest to this. I knew people that worked at Supreme before they even were public facing, before Instagram was even around. You'd find out who was working there. You knew who worked in the stores because you popped in there from time to time. You knew who may be rumored to be on the skate team, who got knocked off the skate team, who got sacked from the store, who was vying for a job at Nike. You know what I mean? You just knew what won. So I would like to ask Tremaine, like, is he lying when he says this? If you like, because he makes it sound like he was surprised when he walked into Supreme head office and saw that it was kind of white. Like, how are you surprised? Like, you didn't know that, that lady from Made Me was like one of the fucking longest serving employees there. You were not aware of the guys that have worked there before. What's that guy's name? Ricky something, for the photography, I think, is it photography? I don't know, whatever he does there, right? The guy with the slick back hair. But there's a bunch of people that work there that you should have got an idea on, like, what it's like in the head office. And again, I'm not really too sure why that would be a negative, like, I don't necessarily see Supreme as a black facing brand, like, aesthetically. Maybe they have some aesthetics there, maybe tied in with New York, but I feel like as if it's like, it's racially ambiguous. It's kind of broad. It kind of covers all races. I don't think it's only about blacks. But I would be also like to ask him, like, was he generally surprised by that? Because he probably should have had a better understanding or knowledge of who worked at Supreme before he worked there. So him being generally surprised that there were so many white people there is making me curious as to were there more black people there before he worked there, or was he generally surprised? Let's continue. Emory's mission is to make sure nobody forgets that the influence of what black people have had to overcome to achieve it. He compares Denim Tears to films like director Spike Lee. The vantage point of most of his films is his perspective of black life in America. People love, cry, smile, get angry. These films he makes. I say it's the same for Denim Tears. If you're a human being, you can relate to these stories and learn from them. Okay. Fair play to him. Editor's note: the story was amended to correction of the address of the African diaspora goods. Big up Denim Tears. Big up Blood Clot Denim Tears. Let's actually go over to I want to check out their fucking. Oh, actually, Denim Tears actually made a point on Twitter. This is fucking amazing. Big up Tremaine. This is fucking hilarious. I think I'm still blocked actually, which is a fucking bummer and really sad. Because, I think it was during that whole time when everybody was attacking Tremaine for some of the Supreme's systemically racist fucking situations. And to be fair to him, he was saying some nonsense online. And I forgot why I must have said in reply, and I guess he didn't like it. So I got the old bada block. But hey, it is what it is. In Elon Musk's new X world, you can still see people's tweets. So he decided to, what's that thing called? Quote tweet. One of these tweets that said as follows: Tremaine Emory reveals Denim Tears pulls in $10 million in annual revenue sales, doubles its sales every year. Now the brand is going to expand in global markets. And Denim Tears quote tweeted it with a clarification and said, maybe y'all read it wrong. Tens of millions. That means multiples of 10 million, not just 10 million. Jesus Christ, man. Tremaine letting these nuts hang. Personally, it's not for me. Personally, I'm not the type of person to brag about stuff like that. Like, you're never going to see me in a diamond chain. You're never going to see me in a fucking really fancy car. You know, the only way you'd see that I've attained the type of wealth that I would like for myself and my family and shit will just be the vacations I go on, the background to my pods and shit, the quality of my fucking videos. But you will never see it in fucking, you know, material things. And I also would never say online, oh yeah, man pulls in. I mean, it's just a little bit crass. But when it comes to black people and shit, when it comes to our positioning out here in culture, when it comes to leaving a mark, I think it's important to clarify some things and to sometimes let people feel your presence, let people know Wagwan, you know? I think it's important. I think that's one of the unfortunate things about being black sometimes, is that I feel like sometimes people don't give you your flowers, so you have to remind people just how powerful you actually are. You have to remind people just how important you actually are. You have to remind people just how fucking sick you are, because if you don't, they won't do it. You know, that's the issue. They'll do it to their fucking other, you know, white counterparts, people who maybe face fits, but to you, they won't. So you have to try, like for blacks, you have to fucking try, you know, 10 times as hard. You can't make as many mistakes as others, but then you also have to be your biggest fan. But then if you're your biggest fan and you're overly confident, they then try and knock you down and try and kind of humble you because you're too confident, too cocky into what you do and shit. So it's a fucking nonsense situation to be in, but it kind of is what it is. So I understand why he did it, to clarify why he clarified, but it also goes to show just how much shit this guy sells, bro. And again, think about it, right? He's selling multiple tens of millions of Denim Tears clothing, and you'd imagine most of it is probably cotton reef sweatsuits, probably accounts for the large majority of that selling. But just imagine how much more he would be selling if fakes didn't exist. If the Fugazi, you know, secondhand market, whatever that market exists, or people selling fakes on Temu, AliExpress, Taobao, Reddit subreddits and shit, Discords, right? Sunday markets. If that world of Denim Tears didn't exist, just imagine how much more money he'd be making if he's already making tens of millions of dollars right now with this shit. It's fucking phenomenal. So big up him, big up him. Let's go quickly to the Instagram and see what they've got dropping soon that people are talking about. They're talking about, first of all, here, this shirt that I think we already saw on the website. We've got two shirts here. We've got a nice button-up shirt that has a cotton reef, or black plaid shirt with a cotton reef with Swarovskis all over them too. You've got another shirt with different badges and tags, I'm guessing, from other stuff they've done maybe in the past, and this nice blue pinstripe with the zip code snapback as well. You've got the two-tone shorts there. You've got a polo shirt, and of course another one of the hats too. You've also got the camo cotton reef that's coming very soon, right? Available on Friday. Camo cotton reef. You've got this football jersey top coming as well, and you've also got the shorts that match with it. And there's also a really cool do-rag that also goes with it. Let me actually check this out. Actually, let's go back here. What do we have here? So the camo cotton reef is just a camo cotton reef. So it's cotton. It's a cotton reef kind of masked into the camo. It's not overly obvious there. And there's also a t-shirt that goes with it, and also a do-rag. What else do we have here? We have more images from the collection I spoke about previously. ADG SS25. I guess, is that what they're going by now? Africa Diaspora Goods, not Denim Tears, or is that Denim Tears ADG? I wonder why what that is. Oh, maybe it's just ADG because of the label. But I do like the wash of the sweats and the top as well. It looks fucking cool. So does the styling. I ain't mad at all of that. It looks fucking great. Actually, what is that? Is that a belt around his waist? What is that? I ain't mad at that belt there. Not mad at that belt whatsoever. Oh, look at the raw seam at the bottom of the shirt. Is that what he's done there on the bottom of the shirt? So it looks like the shirt has like a raw hem at the bottom. Is that what I'm seeing there? So instead of it being like stitched and folded at the bottom, it looks like that the shirts have like a little bit of a raw hem, if I'm not mistaken. Which shirt was it actually? Let me go back to the fucking Instagram. What shirt am I looking at here? Nope, not that one. What shirt am I looking at? I'm looking at that shirt, right? With the African Diaspora Goods, ADG. Let's scroll down. So allegedly this shirt's got like a raw hem. That's pretty cool. I ain't mad at that actually. You can't actually see it here because it's like a photo. No, it's not. It's actually a product picture, but it does look like it's been double stitched here. But on the actual model picture, it looks like there's like a raw hem here, like they've cut it with a pair of scissors. Maybe they have cut it. To be fair, maybe for the styling of this lookbook, they've cut the hem here so that you can see more of the belt. But I quite like that as a little detail. That's quite a nice little design detail because it kind of rolls up over time as well, gives it a nice little effect. There's also another image here of the model wearing the sweatsuit in pink and this washed out orange, lilac tea, peachy colorway. And there's also this massive Ghana Must Go-esque bag as well that the model's carrying. And I wonder if that's going to be part of the collection. Not too sure. But like I said, man, a lot of the stuff that they've been doing has been fucking sick. But, you know, people have been kind of turning a blind eye to it because people kind of maybe aren't too fans of what Tremaine has to say on social media. But I feel like ever since he stepped back from socials, people have been loving it. I've been loving the stuff more and been appreciating. Like, look at that. Look at that. Look at those track pants. Those track pants are fucking sick, man. That reminds you of some needle shit, but done in his style. That's fucking amazing with these fucking strings that dangle down. That DT, that logo is fucking cool. That is really, 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 really well done. Snapback with the jacket. Like, that is an amazing lookbook as well. Very, very, very well done, to be fair. Some more stuff's here as well. There's a what's that sweatsuit actually? Is that a light? Is that a blue? That's a really nice sweatsuit. That's reminding me of some Sean John shit. I ain't mad at that in the slightest. So big up him for that. Some more on that snapback. And they've also got some clips or some pictures here of the cotton reef as well. The cotton reef that dropped a while back ago. Oh, look at those boots. I wonder if those boots are part of his collection coming out soon. I wonder if those boots, we're gonna get those boots soon. These fireman cowboy boot type things with this strap that has an American flag strap on it. Or if that's just like model zone. I don't know if that is model zone, but that looks really fucking cool. And you've also got the Denim Tears boxes as well. That I ain't mad at in the slightest. Also, sweatsuits. Yeah, cool shit, man. Cool fucking shit. Cool fucking shit. Cool. Where's the denim shorts, Lord? We gotta get it. Each panel is puff printed and assembled by hand. Praying they upgraded the pockets. I've broken too many. Oh, really? Yeah, that's probably what they need. They probably need to make the pockets deeper or give them zips. But then there's a problem. If you make these pockets deeper on these denim sweat shorts, or these sweat shorts, you're then probably gonna have to increase the price. And I'm assuming if you add some zips on them. But they're desperate. Oh, that's Venus X, isn't it? Big up Venus X. But they probably need some zips on the pockets for sure to kind of give it the necessary, security that they need.
We broadcasting live, Hot 97. From Flex DJ.
This is pretty cool, by the way. Bringing back block parties. I'm not gonna lie. This looks fucking amazing. It's shot really well too. They're doing that thing that all the kids are doing now, where they're purchasing. By the way, it's a pretty cool technique. I'm a little bit over it because loads of really corny, lame people that I follow, really basic, normie kind of bitches and shit are now starting to do it. Where you buy like an old digital camera, one that I used to use myself back in the day when I used to take my pictures at fucking club events and shit, and you use that to record your videos or take your content or take pictures in general. And the idea behind it is that you're more present because you're not always on your phone. And also aesthetically, the pictures just come out with this different type of grain, different type of light, different type of contrast they don't necessarily get with your iPhone. It kind of make it feel more rich, and they kind of feel alive and shit. It's just a great way to kind of take pictures and shit. So people, kids in general, are starting to buy camcorders. They're buying old fucking digital cameras and shit and recording shit like this on SD cards and stuff and doing all that malarkey. It's a pretty cool little scene. So I think somebody did the same sort of thing with this block party. Hot 97's block party with them too. By the way, Hot 97, personally for me, I stopped listening and following all their content on social media, but I'm assuming in New York, Hot 97 is still a thing and people still give a shit about what they're doing. I feel like their summer jam thing has kind of died down, you know, culturally. But if they do this sort of stuff like this year on year, annually, block parties and shit, in collaboration with Denim Tears as well, that might be a thing. That might be a cool little thing to kind of, you know, give New York that fucking push that it needs. Or maybe fill that void that summer jam kind of left. I don't really know. But this is pretty cool. Big up Funk Flex, big up Denim Tears, big up Hot 97.
Hey, Bobby Trent, we here. Big Digital, shake the block. 170 26 Spring Street. Oh! We're not playing out here. Denim Tears Block Party. Yes, sir. We broadcasting live, Hot 97.
And I'm all fishing, village, visiting with Papa. With shoppers, all of you imposter. Simply just Ferrari window shoppers. The one that I just saw that looked like it was built by NASA. Over $500,000 we call for Kasha. Reaching for Akasha. And I'm all fishing, village.
Wow. Look how busy it is.
Inspired by Bosky, I'm a chariots of fire. Everybody took shots in my body, I'm tired. Build me up, break me down, build me up again. They like Hogan, need you back. Yes, again.
Wow.
He's on fire.
There's nothing like a New York block party to give you FOMO, bro. There's nothing like a New York block party to give you FOMO. There was I forgot what that party's called in New York recently. It's like a house rave they do in a park. People are complaining that it was getting gentrified and shit. But there's certain things you see happening in New York that gives you instant FOMO. That house particular party rave that happens in the park, and it's an annual thing and it's a tradition. It's been going on since I think the 80s or something. That looked fucking amazing. And random block parties. Honestly, you see people on rooftops in New York during the summer. You see random block parties of people enjoying themselves in New York, and it gives you instant FOMO, man, because that's where that city really shines. And when these spontaneous type of things happen out of the blue, or just happen in the streets in general, you're out here drinking, having a good time, dancing, got your best fits on, beautiful, cool people all around you. It must be so fucking fun, man. Fucking Venus X, man. Fucking big time Venus X. I remember we once booked her to play a rave of ours in London, and she fucking aired us. We booked her way ahead of time, and she ditched our party to play another rave. This was many years ago, by the way, when I used to do this rave in fucking Alibi called So Special. We had booked her to play, and yeah, she ended up which to be fair was a bit brutal. It kind of hurt our feelings back then, but then looking, you know, as the years go by, you realize that this is a standard thing that happens in club culture, happens in clubbing in general with DJ bookings. Sometimes DJs will accept your booking on the basis that they don't have anything else, and then if another bigger booking comes in that will pay more or that is more clouted, they will take that over yours. It hurts as a promoter, it hurts as a fucking person organizing a rave, because you're essentially selling that event on the basis of this big time DJ or somebody that you rate playing, and you're hoping you can sell tickets with their name. But then they drop out lastminute.com. It can fucking hurt. I think at that time what we did, I think we might have kept her name on a flyer. That's the only reason how we kind of tried to remedy this situation. We kind of scummed the whole shit and kept her name on a flyer anyway. But yeah, she ended up not turning up to our rave. If I'm not mistaken, I think she said she wasn't coming. I'm gonna give her the benefit of the doubt. I don't think she just not turned up. I think she did tell us in the end that now she took a better gig, a better paying gig. It's, you know, it's the thing. You have to hustle, whatever it may be. But big up Venus X. We tried to get her, but she didn't end up turning up. Big up Venus X. It's fun, man.
Let God sort them out.
Yeah, man. Give me this version of Denim Tears any day of the week. Give me this version of Denim Tears any day of the week. Connecting with the people. You know, just yeah, give me this version. Give me this version. This version seems fun. This version seems cool. This version seems fun. This version seems cool. Big up DT. Big up Blood Clot D fucking T.